How's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at our next DMVPN topic, which is going to be phase 3, which is going to be direct spoke-to-spoke communication after some NHRP wizardry. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disable tunnel protection on CSR3, and actually I'm going to disable it on all of them so we can see how it all works together. And then I'm going to do, without any crypto, I'm going to do a direct spoke-to-spoke connection between 5 and 6 so you can see how that works. And then we're going to take a look at enabling crypto again, and we're going to do a pairing between 4 and 5 with crypto so you can see how all that is built. So I want to show you the before and after and how it would work in that particular use case. So that's basically what we're going to go do and play around with. So let's go ahead and do the removal of the interface tunnel 100, no tunnel protection IPsec profile and the profile name. Well, in this case here, do show history. We're just going to go ahead to all these nodes and pull this configuration off. And 5, and then 6. So all of our connections should come back online here momentarily once we get there's the adjacencies back up. So now we have that squared away. The next step for us to do is talk about how we want to allow the traffic to talk to each other. Now, in order for this to work, we need to keep the phase 2 operations in play. You might say, well, why do we need that? It's technically not needed. We can get away with doing things like on the tunnel interface on the hub, we could set a default route over the wire, over the tunnel to the spokes, so we don't have to do split horizon or disable split horizon. We can keep it in play, but then whenever we need to do direct spoke-to-spoke traffic, we can use NHRP messages to go back and forth and do that. That's one way of doing this. Another way is to keep split horizon disabled so that the spokes learn about all the routes, and then we go and do the direct spoke-to-spoke communication. In order to allow this, though, the first thing we have to do underneath the tunnel is type in the command IPNHRP redirect. And we can hit the redirect command. The redirect command, I'm going to go ahead and do a debug NHRP packet. What that's going to do is anytime a spoke wants to talk to another spoke, it's going to have to ask the hub for that information. So we'll do this on CSR6. And on these spokes, it's IPNHRP shortcut. And when we get into Flex VPN, we'll talk about the virtual template for that. But do show history. We're just going to type in this command like so. Go to 5 and go to 4. There we go. So now that we have that in play, what I'm going to go do now is on CSR 8, instead of trying to go VRF 4 to 6, technically I could still do it. I'm going to do 6 to 5. So I'm going to go to 5, but I'm coming from 6. So 172.25 inside of VRF S6 with a source of 26, like so. So that's going to be my configuration that I hit. I'm going to just do the ping, and what we should see on 6 is a debug NHRP packet on this guy, and a CSR5 here. We should do a debug NHRP packet so we can see the communication going back and forth. Let me just validate this real quick. We're going to a destination of 25 from a source of 26. So what should end up happening is we should get a message on all the devices. What should end up happening is on 6, we should go 6, we will send a message out asking for this information right here, and we should get a protocol update. So we're going to send out a registration request. We're going to send a resolution request asking for this information. I'm coming from here, the tunnel address of CSR6, but I want to get to 25. So I want to go through CSR5. there's going to be a receive resolution request that we need to point ourselves to another address. The MBMA address we're going to point ourselves to is 51.0.0.5. And this is going to be the address we point to with a destination protocol of VRF S6. Now on 5, we're going to get the same thing. It's just going to be, we're going to get a receive traffic indication via that. We're going to receive a send resolution request. This is the information that we are receiving. We need to respond to it. And receive resolution request. And then it goes back and forth saying that we should be squared away. 3 will start off with send traffic indication. So it's a redirect basically. And it'll say it'll receive resolution request via this guy. Request via tunnel 100 from 6. Doesn't actually say 6 in that one. Right here. From 6, and then we were going to send out a reply. So right here it says forwarding resolution request outbound, and it's got the mappings in it that we need to have. So it's telling it where to send the traffic and things like that, so we know where we're supposed to send the traffic. So we have forwarding resolution request with the source MBMA of 51.0.0.5. When 6 gets it, it knows where to send the traffic. It says, okay, well, if I need to talk to you, I need to go to 51.0.0.5. And if I show DMVPN, we're going to have a dedicated tunnel set up between them. We're going to see that this is dynamic tunnel 1, where T1 means that its route is installed and T2 is the next hop override. So if we do a show IP route EIGRP, we're going to see that in order to reach 25, we're going to go towards tunnel 3, or out tunnel 100 towards CSR3. But what's actually interesting about this, we show IPsec for 172.25.0.0. We type internal. We're actually going to be setting the, or I'm sorry, I don't have to do that. I can just hit the enter key. And it's going to point the next hop to the IP address of CSR5's tunnel. Now if we go back over here to 8, one thing that I didn't do is I didn't do a trace route. Now we do a trace route numerically. I go directly from 6 to 5. I no longer go through, I don't take the path through CSR3 anymore like we did with. So initially it would have gone that route. It would have gone 6 to 3 to 5 because it would have needed all that. But in this case here it didn't need to because now we have a direct tunnel set up between those two. So that's how that would come into play. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm actually going to re-enable crypto and keep the configuration that we have in play. So I'm going to go back to CSR3. I'm going to go up to global config, interface tunnel 100, tunnel protection, and protection is IPsec profile, and the profile name is going to be way on up here. I don't think I have it in recently. Do show run section crypto. We'll grab this profile name. Tunnel protection, IPsec profile, this guy here. Do show history. Just come in here and do. So do show history. I'll grab these 2 lines of config. I'll drop them back onto 4 and 5 respectively. And then 6. Like so. So now what I'm going to go do is on between 4 and 5, I'm going to do a trace route. So I'm going to go to CSR8 again, but this time here I'm going to do a trace route VRF S4 to 172.25.0.8 from a source of loopback 172.25 or sorry, 24.0 numerically. And so what should happen is you'll notice how the very first time I go through there, I go to router 3. and then you'll see 4 pops up and 5 pops up. We have all this traffic going back and forth. If we do a show DMVPN, we should have a dynamic tunnel going to 4, which is DMVPN specifically. If we do a show crypto ISA, now we have a dynamic tunnel set up to 4, between 4 and 5 right here. And we do a show crypto IPsec SA, pipe include peer and PKTS. We're going to have one going directly from 4 to 5. And here we have 2 packets were sent. If I go back to 8 and hit the trace route again, you'll notice that I go directly to 5. And if we go back to 5 and hit the up arrow, well, we're going to see that those packets have increased. We technically have one going to 6 as well now, because we already had that connection. So if we go back to CSR 8 and we hit the up arrow a couple times and we do this trace route, you'll notice that it kicks in and we have another set of tunnels that are going to come up through NHRP. Go back to 8 and hit the up arrow, you'll notice we go direct. So now we have full spoke-to-spoke reachability in that term. So if we do a on 5, if we undebug all, we do a show IP route, we're going to have a bunch of NHRP messages in here now. We're going to have 2 NHRP. Anytime you see H is NHRP, and that's going to come into play here and here for those. So if I need to point to router CSR4 or CSR6 via tunnel 100, I'm going to be able to reach them, and I'm going to have the percent sign or next hop override. So that's basically how all this stuff comes into play. That's basically what you need to know in terms of the operations and things like that. So with that being said, pretty straightforward stuff for the most part. That's phase 3. So now we're pretty much done with DMVPN. There's really not much more to talk about. I mean, there's going to be more topics. We're going to flip over to VRF aware IPsec now with crypto or with key rings and things like that, and how you can modify all those details. But that's basically how we have to go forward with that stuff. So until next time, guys, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. We'll catch you in the next video.